No, he got worse. I tell you, I got to tell you a quick story. I had a show at the Ryman to do, and this was years ago. This was when I was still playing in my country band. But they had booked me there to do a bluegrass night, so I had called Mr. Monroe, and I called Earl, and I called Roy Husky Jr., and I called Benny Martin, and that was the band. Wow. And we went upstairs and tried to rehearse some songs that we were going to do. I had me a little list of songs I wanted to do, and them guys never did a set list. You know, they had the set list up here. They just read the crowd, and they, you know, Lester always knew what to do. But anyway, I got up there, and it was like, 40 minutes before showtime, and we were trying to, run through songs and decide what in the heck we were going to do. And Mr. Monroe was sitting there, and he was had his mandolin in his hand, and he's just sitting there like that. And I looked over to Earl, and his right hand was just like this, just shaking, and I thought, oh, God, and Husky was, smoking them little cigar things, and Benny was wired to the max. I mean, he was, and talking like a duck. I mean, it's just like, remember how he got there to where, and he couldn't talk, and he was, and had this bandana around his head,
Oh, yeah,
And I thought, God, how am I going to, what's going to happen?
God said, don't blame me.
Yeah, don't throw this on me. And so we get down there, and when we got on stage, Earl's hand was just like a rock, solid, steady. Mun woke up, clicked them old heels, and stood up there like an old rooster, And Benny was absolutely killing it, and me and Husky was looking at each other, and he's going, And it was the greatest, one of the greatest things, greatest experiences of my whole life to get to play with my heroes, because every one of those guys had been a hero to me. And I don't think that there is a tape or anything that exists of that show. I mean, if that had been videotaped, God, but anyway.
There's a few stories in this room.
There is some stories in here.
Watching Dale McCurry sitting over there grinning every time we mentioned Mr. Monroe's. Now, how many years did you play in Mr. Monroe's band?
I only played a year. From
really?
February '63 to February '64.
Oh.
And in that year, Kenny Baker quit. He had been there for quite a while, And Bill Keith, me and him started about the same time, and he quit in that year, and so...
And got a new name.
He got a brand new name.
Yeah,
it was
Brad.
Bill.
Yeah, Brad Keith.
Yeah, while he was working for Bill,
Yeah. There's only one Bill in this outfit.
Yeah, that's right. Bill said to him, he said, what is your full name? And he said, William Bradford Keith. And he said, you'll be Brad. So he went by that name that whole time, He never called me Dale. He called me Dale McCurry.
McCurry?
That's the way he pronounced my name. Yeah.
Dale McCurry?
Dale McCurry. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. There's just something about, these Martin guitars. They're old, they're dry, they're just beat to death. You imagine having to stay up to Dale, for 2 hours at night, having that just pounded on you,
What year is that one, Dale?
That's a '56. It's pretty new, actually.
Yeah.
I started playing it in '66. It was brand new when I started playing it. But I got to tell you a little story about Monroe. Remember Tut Taylor?
Uh-huh.
Well, Tut, Monroe's mandolin needed frets, when I was working for him.
Should have got Benny.
Yeah, he should have got, but he knew better than get Benny, didn't he?
Yeah, he did.
But anyway, he was telling Tut, and Tut said, I'll put frets in that, So Tut took it, and he's playing it a little bit, and he said, Bill, you can't even play on one of these frets down here. I forget where it was, like in an F chord, Bill said, I know, I play around that. He did. And he'd been doing it for years,